talking about COVID, could you say a little more about organizing politically in the age of COVID? It's actually changed in recent weeks, but part of what's changed is we don't go out as much. And so just going out into the streets, it's not what it once was. The reason I said it changed in recent weeks is with these uprisings that we're seeing, yes, people actually are taking to the streets. Uh, it's a different era in terms of how to organize for the Green Party, for progressive change. We're just in a different era now. And I want to know more about your thoughts on that.
Yeah, my thoughts are still developing because I I was a little afraid to go out, and so I want to take this moment too that to say to those in the streets who have been out there since day one, I commend you because they were willing to take to the streets to demand justice and equity in the face of possibly losing life because this COVID issue is one that we can't see. So I applaud and salute comrades who have been on the ground and putting their lives, their immune systems, their families' lives at risk. And again, to say enough is enough. So I think the Green Party, we I've been very careful as to make any type of request. At best, I can say stay safe no matter what your decision is. But I think that at best, I'm very thankful that we have developed our own legislative committee. So I think we should get to the board real soon and begin to create and link up with lawmakers who are also kind of in that same vein that we're in. Because I think that what we've seen, not only throughout COVID, but we've seen through these rebellions, is that what the government has told us we can't have, all of a sudden some things are being produced. So I think this is a very strategic moment that the Green Party can harness in, put our heads together, brainstorm about what legislative issues, even if they're localized, what we can do to bring about some relief to folks in our communities.
Yes, thank you. I mean, I'm seeing it as we're actually starting to discover that you could get more people to a meeting on Zoom sometimes than you can in person because
Mm-hmm.
people like attending meetings where they don't have to leave their house, I guess. I guess there's something to that. So what I thought could be in some ways the death of organizing actually has opened up some exciting new possibilities, which I find interesting. We're seeing a
Right.
lot of growth in the Green Party of Florida these days.
Yeah.
And that brings me to what I'd like to bring up in sort of our last discussion is we're in 2020. And I just, since this is going to go out to people, I have to say for the sake of no, just transparency here, that I work on a presidential campaign. I work on the Howie Hawkins campaign. And it's the front running campaign. He will likely be the nominee. And it's 2020, and people are very frightened of Trump. And people have reason to be frightened of Trump. He's frightening. And then there's Biden, what's he offering? So how do we stand strong as a Green Party? Especially you and I are in Florida. We're in a swing state. We're in a state that, if you remember, 2000 was the scene of the crime, and the crime was Ralph Nader, even though you could point to so many things that had to do with that loss of from Al Gore that had nothing to do whatsoever with Nader's vote. But it has been seized upon. So we're in this swing state, and it's anybody but Trump, and that means Biden. So how would you answer that?
Yeah, this has been a discussion for a while. For one thing, I try to challenge folks to think that's not a strategy. To be forced to have to, of course, the whole lesser evil concept, but to be forced to have to make your choice based on there's no one can be worse than Trump. I mean, or any of those type narratives. That's horrible. That's got to be horrible. I try to push that. It is not easy. I try to speak power of truth to the Black communities to let them know that neither party has been loyal to Black people. Your Democratic Party presently is the leftover party from the George Wallaces and the Byrds, and so you owe them no type of loyalty whatsoever. And so we're constantly having conversations like that. Recently, there's this whole debate about whether or not the folks in the street have voted, and they have. A lot of them have. I've been in the street some. I vote, and because they voted, um, uh, some of the results of what we have now in office. So the whole idea of voting is that we do have other options. It's just that the media and corporatism has not allowed us to look at third party options such as the Green Party. And so I always give them a list of first, are you aware of the Green Party or any other third party? And then I kind of try to build a stronger dialogue around that. And it would mean that your third party option probably will not make the White House, but at least we're on to, you used the word earlier, we're at least part of a trailblazing group of people that are wanting the duopoly system to no longer be available to us.
Yes, and it's a chance to get progressive voices heard. You take that chance with that vote for the Green Party. People say, well, that vote doesn't mean anything. It's a wasted vote. Whereas I think the wasted vote is for Joe Biden. That's a wasted vote because every time people who call themselves progressives vote for people like Joe Biden, every time people who say they believe that Black Lives Matter, let alone that Black Power matters, which is something I actually prefer to say, if you say, well, I'm voting for Joe Biden, the duopoly, the capitalist colonialist system, they've got their answer. We don't have to give you anything. There's nothing you need. We can just do this, and you'll give us your vote because someone worse is out there. So this is going to be a hard moment for the Green Party, but I honestly see so much great potential here. I think one thing about older Greens is that they have a hard time looking at younger people. They see things from very old models. They're looking at an old model of things. Well, it's an anybody but Trump year. Well, people are going to be mad at us if we do too well. So best, and this is what's in the back of some people's heads, best we don't do well at all because we don't want the Democrats to be mad at us. But those people, those young people on the street, they're not thinking like that. They're either staying home or they're going to vote for a progressive option like the Green Party. Those are their choices because they're not out there to vote for Joe Biden. They don't want to vote for Joe Biden. So do they stay home or do we capture that energy? And this is our moment. So I'm hoping we can do that, comrade. And I just want to say it's an honor to work under the leadership of you and LeBeau. I spent a lot of years in Florida where I wondered, can this party ever grow up into a real grown-up party? And well, you need the right leadership to do that. And I think we're finally there. I think we're grown up now as a party. So I'm feeling good about the future, even though we live in a moment where sometimes it's hard.
Right. Well, look forward to more victories.
Yes. All right. Well, we should sign off here.